very nice truck. The gentleman who owns it had it lowered. His concern now is that it's too low, and he's hitting some potholes and stuff, and he wants to be able to make the height adjustable when needed. So what we're doing is we're putting in what's termed as bagging it. We're putting in 4 airbag system in the car, so he has at his fingertips adjustment to either run it high, low. When he parks it, he can drop it. There's a lot of flexibility with it. So in the front, we've already got the airbags and the suspension components that come with it in place to allow the movement of it. In the back, as you see on the table here, we're getting ready to put the Ford Link system into it and take out the leaf spring system. And what that does, it allows the flexibility of the rear end to move up and down as necessary for the desired height. It runs off a compressor system, which we are also going to mount underneath the bed. We're going to tuck it in there for it real nicely, and should be pretty fun to see it go up and down and set where he wants it, and it'll have all the adjustability that he looks for. One of the challenges of adding a heavy airbag system, as we're doing on this truck here, is location and placement of the compressor tank assembly. That's actually what pumps the air and retracts the air. In this case, the customer requested that we remove the side saddle tanks for safety concerns and relocate the fuel tank to the rear of the vehicle. So we had a couple of voids on either side of the truck. On the right side, we were able to utilize the brackets that held the fuel tank in previously and incorporate it for a mounting point for our compressor tank assembly. Also in doing so, we were able to use the factory plastic cover that shielded the fuel tank. So it's really turned out on this version here a great location. We didn't have to mount it in the back of the truck or really take up any other heavy space to accommodate what we needed for air pressure. We're modifying the shock mount bracket to the side of the frame due to the fact that we are not going to give an extreme lowering on the back of the vehicle. That would require notching the frame, adding the attached bracket complete as came in the kit. Since we won't be modifying the frame, I still need the shock brackets. We can mount them in the locations where they were supposed to go via the full complete bracket, which is, you can show them here. That will eliminate us having to go in and notch this frame out and do that excessive work that's really not necessary. The customer has no desire to lower this vehicle that far to the ground. Now that we've got the front suspension built, it's time to set the ride height sensors. These sensors here will actually move up and down as the suspension moves up and down. But as you're sitting still and you want to set your height, this is what tells the computer where to stop and the height of the vehicle. So it's pretty critical to get these things at center here. This would be a drop in the suspension, and that certainly would be a suspension collapse. So in locating the spot, it's critical to find where it's not going to get damaged when the wheel turns, as the tire turns up and down. On this particular truck, we found that the system itself will go ahead and go off of the upper control arm. Will be mounted here, and there's a flange that's already built onto the upper control arm to accommodate the rod. The arm itself is adjustable. 2 heim joint ends. This rod you can cut as needed. The heim joints fit right onto here. So for example, if I wanted it to be the length here, I would come and cut between the barbs, take that away, and then push that on there, and then I would have my length. So they provide enough to just do a wide array. And we'll probably have to do lengthened ones in the rear end as opposed to the tight quarters that we have up here in the front. After completing the install of the 4-point rear end and the airbag system on this truck, it's amazing the way that it drove. It's a very firm ride, but soft enough where you're not feeling every bump in the road. Handles very good. It turns on a dime. Very little squat with the heavy sway bars and the Panhard rod that's in the back. Overall, just a great experience to have it on there. And obviously, you get the adjustability with the height, depending on where you want to drive. If you're going to use it for an everyday driver, which this person is going to use. It looks to me like they've overbuilt it. And I say that as a positive, that all the brackets, the struts, the heim joints, everything that's involved into it is definitely harder steel than any of the factory, thicker, and the mounting points that they had it located at fit real well. Didn't have to modify anything as far as frame or really heavy adjustments to try to get the thing centered. It all fell into place. I think the client will be overwhelmed with not only his flexibility of his height, but with the quality of the ride.